here we are. Ground beef is what I need. This is what I need. Unlike in North America, here in Belgium there is no elevator music. And the elevators are really small too. 2 people standing room only. Honey, I'm home. Love, is dinner ready? Crap, she's not home. So I guess it's my turn to do the cooking today. Okay, cooking it is. She must have gone to a Star Mall maybe. Hanging out in her favorite store probably. All Home. That's where she usually hangs out. Okay, then I will do the cooking today. So, what am I cooking today? Well, it's Crystal's favorite today. I'm making meatballs in tomato sauce. So, here is what we need for our meatballs. Obviously beef and tomatoes, and that will make us meatballs and tomato sauce. However, we need a little bit more than that. So I have half a kilo of ground beef, tomatoes, onion, eggs, salt and pepper, and basil. That's what we use in this house. So off we go. So 2 very important ingredients that I forgot to mention is here breadcrumbs and butter. Butter, that's what we need. Every dish needs butter though. So here we go. The first thing I do is start cutting up the onions. Because the onions, they have to be sauteed, and that takes the longest time. So therefore, cutting the onions is the first thing we do. I cut them in small little squares, I would say. In small tiny pieces, because this is going in the sauce, and in the sauce you don't want really big chunks actually. So guys, my onion is cut. Here it is. It's small cut up pieces. I have a big chunk of butter in the middle there. The size of butter is about the same size as this one here on the sides. So as you know, I never measure anything, so this is about it. So the onion goes on the stove, and we have this saute for until it's soft actually. And now it's time to cut up the tomatoes. So next is tomatoes, and when the onions are sauteed, then the tomatoes go in. So the tomatoes, you know, they're just going in there in kind of chunks, like this. Something like this, you know. And I have about 10 tomatoes that go in there. Next is the ground beef. And spread it open a little bit. Oh, I only used 1.5 of these onions because, as you see, they're very big. So next, salt. For the ground beef, salt as a must. Pepper, and I like them a bit spicy, so I did quite a bit of pepper now. Next thing is eggs. 3 eggs goes in half a kilo of ground beef. And there we go. So, So the eggs, I just mix it in the ground beef. It's very important to have it all nicely mixed up. The ground beef all mixed in with the egg, so that it is one smooth mixture, I would say. And once we got this, then we add the breadcrumbs, you know, and we can do a fair amount because we need to dry out the ground beef a little bit, because otherwise the meatballs will not stick. So the breadcrumbs are going in, and again mixing the whole thing very well together. In the meanwhile, the onions are sauteing, so that takes a little bit. And still it's a little bit too soft, so we add a bit more breadcrumbs. If you wonder what this is, it's just a different make, but it's the same thing. So this should probably do it. Again, mixing it very well together is very important. So now that our onions have sauteed for about 15 minutes, after that I added tomatoes, and I let the whole thing simmer for another 15 minutes. I added some water, and here is the result of that. We have the onions in here and tomatoes that are sauteed. Now, what we do have to do right now is adding some basil. And, again, I add just a little bit. You can always add more according to your taste later, but here it is. Basil is added to that. Now it's simmering for another 15 minutes on a low heat. So now it is time to make our meatballs. And our ground beef is ready. So we have to roll the meatballs right now. And I don't make them too thick normally. Something like this. There we go. That's how I'm going on for another 10 minutes probably making meatballs. And they're not all perfectly the same, but it doesn't really matter. So our ground beef has to be not too moist and not too dry, somewhere in between, because otherwise it doesn't stick. Get the meatballs, and also making sure that it doesn't fall apart because it's too soft. So there we go. They're looking a little bit like this. So, as you can see, guys, the meatballs are ready. So, here, my sauce is simmering a little bit. The meatballs are ready. And now it's time to put them in. Let me see if I can adjust this a bit so you guys can see what I'm doing. There you go. Now that's it. The meatballs go in and separate them a little bit all around the pot. And it doesn't matter if it overlaps a little bit, it's all good. There you go, they're all in. We give it a shake a bit. And now the lid goes back on. There you go. And on low heat, we let this simmer. We let this simmer for another 20 minutes, half an hour, and then it should be ready. Okay. Here we are back at the kitchen. It's half an hour later, and let's take a look at the meatballs. They're still going. So, ooh, look at that. So, they should be ready. Looks good. I'm turning it off. And yeah, that looks good. Let's see if I can grab one here and have a taste. A bit of sauce. And this is gonna be steaming hot. I'll grab that spoon here. the lid back on. But it can come off the heat now. It's done. Grab my knife. This is gonna be too hard to try, but I'm gonna try it anyways. Not bad at all. Crystal, is the spaghetti ready? Because it's done. Okay guys, it's all done. That was it. And see you on the next rainy day for some more cooking. So, now that my meatballs are done, this is a message for all home. Guys, I hope you heard it, that I gave you a nice shout out. So, I'm expecting a discount next time. Not like next time, no, it doesn't go, and you know, my wife shops there all the time. I'm coming there all the time, so for the shout out, that deserves a discount. Not it's for a nice guy, you know that, eh?